Lindsey Escalante is on the podcast with me today. She is a professional organizer at Simplifying the Everyday out of Seattle, Washington. And in the short amount of time that she's been in business, Lindsey has discovered some unique and innovative ways to save time serving her clients and also to be able to give back through her business. I know you guys will enjoy this one. Thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast with Jen Obermeyer. Thank you for joining in. Jen makes it her mission to broaden the horizons of savvy businesswomen in the organizing industry by instilling confidence and inspiring authenticity. She is a devoted business coach and founder of the Inspired Organizer program. Each week, you'll gain new insight into strategies designed specifically for professional organizers. And now, let's get started.
Lindsey, I'm so excited that you're on the podcast today. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Lindsey, we want to just kind of start at the beginning with your business story. You are a mom of two really adorable kids who are featured so prominently on your website, which is, I think, it's a wonderful branding decision because, hey, it's like you're in the thick of things with raising a family. So tell us, how did you come to professional organizing? Like, do you even remember when you first heard that this was a real thing?
I do. So I actually went through a really tough season of being a mom. That was really hard for me, being home with my kids. And really through getting into therapy, I was like, all right, I think I need to do something that I feel is mine, that I feel like I'm helping other people, that I'm contributing, doing something that brings me joy. And I love helping people. That's a big thing. So I was like, well, what has helped me to feel better as a mom, to feel more sane and more in control at home, that's reduced my anxiety.
Yeah.
And that really was organizing our house. I noticed that for me, having a lot of clutter, I felt like all the stuff was like whispering at me. And I was like, I can't do this.
So true. Yeah.
2 little kids who are talking at me all the time. And I need a quieter house. So you can't make the kids be quiet, but you can make your stuff be quiet.
That's so true. Oh my gosh.
So that's where I kind of started with that. And then it's something that I had helped friends and family do, just because I'm that person who, if you want help with your closet, like, I'm so excited. Like, I don't want to tell you I'm excited, but
yeah,
it's like, please just let me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started thinking, well, this could be a job. And then I started looking at websites. And it was really funny because I noticed a few of the websites kind of had similar setups. Like, they were definitely different people. And at first I was like, are they just copying each other? And then I realized they were all Pro Organizer Studio students.
Yeah.
Like, in different parts of the country. But just different things that you go over in the course, they had been implementing. So then that kind of led me to find the course, and I was like, okay, this is it. And that really helped me get started and was really cool.
That is so awesome. And thank you for sharing that I was a part of your journey of getting started.
Yeah, for sure.
That clearly means the world to me and was a big reason why I wanted to sort of create, like, here's the program that I wish I would have had when I was starting a business with 2 little kids. And I thought I was also going to lose my mind. Yeah, I mean, you're exactly, just that example of a person who I was just like, if I could just help one person kind of launch her dream business, then here goes nothing. So thank you for mentioning that part. So your organizing business is Simplifying the Everyday.
Correct.
And so more recently, you shared with me that you definitely resonate with Marie Kondo and her method, which, as we all know, has grown in popularity.
Yes.
A lot. Yes. Now, did you read her book, or were you aware of her prior to becoming an organizer? Was that part of your own personal journey, or did you learn about her after you started the organizing business?
That was, so I have always been like a self-help organizing book junkie. I think I've probably read all of them.
Yeah.
So when hers came out, yeah, I got it on my Kindle. I read it on a flight. And then when we got back from our trip, I like jumped right into it. So
Yeah.
whenever the book came out, I feel like it's been maybe a few years since it came out in the US.
I would
Yeah,
say it's been 5 or 6 years now.
that's very possible. My last few years have been a blur. So,
No, mine too, mine too. But yeah, I want to say that, the more recent kind of surge of interest in her, I think has a lot to do with, the Netflix show, of course, and
mhm,
but the book really, like you said, like it came out about 5 years ago. So that was already a part of kind of your personal story before you came around to
correct. Yeah.
starting it as a business. And what would you say, like, what was the impact for you personally in your own home when you started implementing it?
I think the emotional aspect that it makes you just connect with your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have often held on to things because I thought someone else wouldn't want me to get rid of it.
Mm.
Or I was like, well, maybe I'll need this someday, that kind of that fear of the future. Or I didn't use this, oh, but I spent so much money, so that kind of fear of the past.
Past? Yep,
So
absolutely.
all of that just kind of being like, okay, what to me really matters?
Yeah.
What do I want the season of my life to be about? And then how does that inform my decisions about what I want to keep? So all of that really, I found that to be a lot more effective for me, just with being able to let stuff go and feel really good about it
Mm-hmm.
and to have
Mm-hmm.
not really any regrets. Like I've gotten
Yeah.
rid of so many things and I have not regretted one thing.
Yeah,
My
that's
my
awesome.
son regrets that I got rid of a toy like a
Oh,
couple years ago. He still brings it up, but that's the only thing.
was it something that was replaceable or like a
Oh,
really unique
easily
thing?
replaceable. Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
so easily replaceable. Like
Okay.
20 bucks, we're done. But I'm like, you didn't play with it. I think we're going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
He's since moved on. He's good.
What was it like, this was pre, you working with clients, going through the KonMari process and, like what was your husband thinking and saying and feeling like while you were kind of changing the way you were doing life like at home and, changing your relationship with your own stuff?
He was really on board. He has a saying, like, I'm always like, thank you for getting on board. And he always says, with you, I either get on board the train or I get run over by the train. So,
Okay, I know a lot of people are relating to that
yes.
comment right now. That's so funny.
So he's really supportive. And he also loves having less stuff.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
growing up, we both had families that did not lean towards the minimalist side of life.
Mm-hmm.
So we both, it's worked really well for us. Yeah, he's been good with it. And I mean, he didn't grow up here. I grew up not too far from Seattle. So I was the one who had like the bins that my mom had in her garage that came home.
Yeah.
He moved up here for work, so they just brought some of his stuff, and he's just been here for the last 13 years. If you go back to his childhood home in Mexico, his mom has all the stuff, but it's there. Um, so he didn't have a whole lot of stuff. If he listens to this, he'll probably be like, and none of the stuff that I had is here anymore because you moved it along.
I
He has
love it.
one winter coat that he still has, and he's like, this coat has outlasted every purge, so he's a really good sport about it. He likes that it reduces my stress, and he just wants me to be happy because when I'm happy, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody is happier. So
Totally.
so we're good. He's all right with it.
I love that you shared that. I feel like we should do like a whole special episode just about professional organizers and their spouses.
Yes.
But I do have a funny joke to tell you. Well, my husband and I are on total opposite ends of the spectrum, and so learning how to live together, especially after I had already had an organizing business, so he knew like, oh God, she's coming after my stuff, and I have
Uh-huh.
had to like, we have some strong boundaries which are great, but we have some friends, a couple, who also, they got married a few years before we did. And the husband always says, he goes, I thought that when a guy gets divorced is when he loses all of his stuff. He goes, but
Right.
when I got married, I lost everything.
Yes.
And that's what my husband is always like trying to warn me against. He's like, don't touch a single thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really an interesting thing when two people have to merge households. Like
Yes.
who wins out? And if one of them is an
Exactly.
organizer, like you said, you got to get on board, or you're going to get run over by the
Yep.
train.
Yeah. I guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, go
I was just
ahead.
gonna say with the KonMari method, it's very clear, like you only work with one person and their stuff. You're not
Absolutely.
allowed to touch the other stuff. So I
Absolutely.
know for clients that I've worked with already, like really assuring I've worked mostly with women. And I'm like, let him know we're not touching his stuff. His
Right.
stuff is safe. Like we don't touch it.
Yeah, yeah. It was a really specific part of her book that I remember reading where she says, if you do feel the urge to like organize and declutter other people's things, you really need to take a look at yourself. And I was like,
Yes.
ooh, that says something about like my career choice. Oh God. So yeah, a lot to dig into there. We'll save that for
Right.
another episode. So
Sounds
Lindsay,
good.
you did decide recently that you are going to go ahead and get your real, true certification as a
Yep.
KonMari consultant. So tell us about that.
Well, I just got back from a weekend in California. I went to the LA training,
Awesome. Yeah.
and it was really great. It was a lot of the training was led by three certified consultants who've been, I I want to say all of them were part of the original like first US course. I could be wrong about that.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but just being able to hear the the training material, but also they would weave in their own experiences working with clients and some of the things that they had gone through. There were about 100 people participating in the weekend from all over the country, some international students as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. It was um, for me, since I've been organizing for the last year and really kind of seeing what resonates with me as far as how I work best and the things I feel like I can help my clients with the best. Um, it felt very much like a confirmation of those things,
Mm-hmm.
that this was really the way to go. I know there were other people who were contemplating a career change, thinking like, this is something I love to do. It will give me more flexibility, maybe closer to the life that I want to be living than the career I'm in right now.
Yeah.
So it was really great. I also got to meet a couple of the women who are also in the Inspired Organizer course. So it was really good, and I'm excited to get my first official KonMari practice client and just work towards the certification process and get all those hours tracked and logged.
So let me ask for professional organizers who are listening and are curious, because as you know, most people know or would assume, if you do get the KonMari certification, that's going to give you some special benefits with obviously being able to advertise yourself as a KonMari consultant, and you get
Right.
listed on their website, and you're allowed to use essentially their branding in your business. So those are, I think, some of the more obvious benefits. But for someone out there who's curious, um, you don't have to get certified in order to say like, hey, I really believe in Marie Kondo and her principles. What is the really underlying benefit for you of going for that KonMari consultant certification versus continuing in your organizing business, and just like you said, saying, this is a big part of my own personal journey and how I believe I can best help clients.
I think for me, I do well with some kind of a structure
Yeah.
to be creative within.
Mm-hmm.
So going through the certification process, it requires you to adhere more to the steps and everything. And
Yeah.
I liked that aspect of it. And then definitely being on the website. There's that,
Yeah.
just that kind of advertising aspect to it.
Bonus. Mm-hmm.
'Cause in my area, there's maybe 4 other certified Konmari consultants.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of as a way to connect with potential clients. Um, and then I don't know if I'm just kind of a like a rule follower person or something. I'm like, if I'm going to commit to something, I really want to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And because really, I don't think lawyers are coming for you if you say, like, I'm inspired by Marie Kondo. One of our
Yeah.
trainers was very clear, like, yeah, I did that before I got certified.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of just wanted to go all in and
All
really
in.
fully belong um, to that style because
Mm-hmm.
I really respect it and feel like it brings a lot of value. It's definitely not a method that's going to resonate with every client or is going to meet their needs, but for the people that I think I can best help um, serve, I think they are the clients that maybe are more drawn to that style.
Mm. I like that. I think, I mean, it sounds to me like you are super clear that you're definitely not going in blind. Like you have organizing business experience, like you're launched, you've been
Mm-hmm.
helping people already, but that this is just for you, the very next like clear step
Yeah,
along your own path. So I think that's really awesome. I'm really excited for you.
thank you.
Okay, so let's jump to another topic. So, as most of my listeners know, like one of my goals with this podcast is to feature organizers who do innovative things within our industry. And Lindsey has done something pretty cool that she saw, is really like an unmet need among like even just in our Inspired Organizer Facebook group. Like we're often talking about shopping for organizing supplies and products for clients and finding kind of like the right thing for the right closet at the right time. And you guys know, if you're out there and you have been working with clients, that sometimes sourcing just the right solution can be challenging. So, Lindsey, will you please tell us what idea or solution did you come up with, and when and where did the inspiration hit you that this should have been a thing?
Oh man. Okay. So I created a website. It's called findorganizersthatfit.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a place where if you know the measurements of the, say, the closet you're working with,
Mm-hmm.
you can put in the measurements of like the type of bin to fit that space. So say you're looking for a bin that's like, 4 inches tall and 10 inches deep and 6 inches across. It's something different clients, their homes are going to be different. Not everybody has, all of our closets are not identical.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
need to really find the right fit.
yeah.
So you put in those things. You can also put in a type of material. Maybe you're looking for like a clear plastic bin, or you want to go bamboo. You can put in colors, and it will show you a bunch of results that are going to fit exactly what you're looking for. And all of those, so far, they are items that you can purchase from Amazon, Target, or the Container Store. I think there's a little Bed Bath and Beyond in there too,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly places that you probably would already be wandering the aisles or opening multiple browser tabs to see if
Yeah.
things will fit. This will help you just narrow it down in a minute.
Amazing. So let me repeat that right away for everybody whose like eyeballs just like fell out of their head. Findorganizersthatfit.com. So, Lindsey, tell us a little bit behind the scenes. Like, you created this website on your own. You're pulling together, like, you're sourcing products from multiple stores. Like,
Mhm.
how did you come up with the idea? And then exactly, who, like, did you just implement this all by yourself, or did you have to, like, what happened, to make all this come to life?
Right. So I had the idea. I had been like sourcing products for a client, and I had all those tabs open, and I was thinking like I was just thinking of all of the other professional organizers I know and how we were all probably doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we could put things in a spreadsheet and that really helps, but then you still have to look through each um, line on your spreadsheet and all the different dimensions. And I just thought, okay, it's just numbers.
Yeah.
It's just numbers. Like there should be a way to um, filter this down. And I
Mm-hmm.
had seen something similar for furniture. Like if you go to, I think, wayfair.com, you can like find a dresser that fits and you can go by dimensions. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, this is silly that there's nothing
Right.
like this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I had the idea on a long drive up to see my mom, and I told my husband, like, this is ridiculous. There should be such a thing. And he's like, you think would people actually use it? I'm like, you don't know. Like
Yeah.
people in my community, we will use this thing.
Right.
So I just, yeah, lots of late nights just brainstorming and then internet searching to figure out how to make it a thing. I did hire a couple of freelancers,
Mm-hmm.
like freelance web people, but I will say they didn't quite get it. And they were like, there's no way this will work. And I was like, okay, you are wrong. Goodbye. I'll pay you for what
Wow.
you've
Yeah.
done
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
far, but I know I can figure this out. So yeah, like I like to say I'm a person who can find anything on the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like the internet, I found my husband on the internet. I can find anything. And I'm
Yeah.
always, yeah, if it's on the internet, I can find it. Um, so I was like, the answers have to be out here. This should be a thing. There's no reason this can't be a thing. Like, this is just numbers, and we just
Yeah.
need
It's
to
like a
filter them.
catalog. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like, there's no reason this cannot be a thing. And then I just kept trying and trying, and then eventually it became a thing.
Okay, so let me tell you what I love about this story, other than that thing you just threw in about your husband. It's hilarious. Is that behind every great idea is a whole bunch of roadblocks,
Yes,
whether it's other people or like, you run into some new technology that you're like, oh God, I got to teach myself how to do this. And all along the way, there's a person behind it who is telling themselves this story of, you know, there's no reason why this can't be a thing,
hmm,
or somebody should do this, it might as well be me. And
right,
that you've kind of got to like, fight off like the battle of like these challenges of like web developers who, you think should know more than you, and then they tell you that this is not possible. And so,
right,
a lesser challenger would have just given up and said, oh well, this is obviously not meant to be, or this is going to be too expensive to figure it out.
uh-huh,
But what I love about this is that like you were just like, no, I'm pretty sure it should not be this difficult. And now, through all those trials and tribulations, out on the other side is like a real actual website that is functional, that works, and that, yes, I know the Women Inspired Organizer have been using it. And, as of now, in terms of this podcast, I'm hoping that the larger organizer community can become aware of it because, again, simple ideas can often have huge impact, especially for, like you said, a lot of women out there that this is how they're spending their time in between clients or their admin days. And so anything that takes some of the struggle out of it is actually going to help them love their jobs more and
yeah,
get more, not spend as much time on the things that are not directly making them money if they're
right.
including it as part of their all-inclusive package.
Yeah, yeah. Just get what you need and get on with your life. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to spend hours finding finding something.
Right. So I think this is especially helpful for newer organizers or people who don't do projects as often that require you to like have the Container Store memorized. Like not
Right,
every organizer is that kind of what's the word? That's not everybody's niche. Like they don't always need to know all this stuff. So there's organizers who tend to keep all that information in their head
right.
somehow. So this is like a great like resource for somebody who is not really interested in memorizing it all. May not have the same stores that everybody else has. Like the
Hmm,
Container Store is not everywhere. I don't
right.
have one. Probably a good thing. But I've got Target. I've got Amazon. So I love that like you can just hop over here and kind of, get a rough idea of products that are a potential solution for your client. So,
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, thank you. Thank you for believing in your own idea long enough for it to become like birthed into the world.
Thank you. I tend to be pretty stubborn, and I would say, especially if the person who's telling me no happens to be a man who thinks that I'm silly, I'm like,
It's
oh,
going down.
okay, all right, that's cute. Okay, bye. Like I've dealt with that enough in my life. I'm moving on. Um, yeah. So it's been really cool. Yeah, and it was very confidence boosting. And as I was entering in the products, I was definitely listening to how I built this podcast with all the other, like I would choose like this entrepreneur and how they got over roadblocks and went through things. I'm like, they did it. Like I could do this. It's like as long as you just keep going, like yeah,
Right.
there's nothing special about anybody who figures stuff out. They just don't stop.
Oh my gosh. I was just about to ask you, like, what is your biggest takeaway and your tip for somebody who, is trying to start anything? And that really sounds like what it is, right? Is that, great ideas are not necessarily like earth shattering. It's just that
Right.
someone persisted, and learned from feedback and learned from failures and then found the
Mhm.
way that does work.
Yeah, and I think as long as you are really sure this is something that's going to help somebody else, that's going to meet a need that somebody else has and will make life easier for people, like for me, that's a big part of it. Like if it was just going to be for me, like I probably wouldn't have done it. Like it's
It's not
been
worth the
useful.
effort. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but um, just knowing that it's saving time for other organizers out there, and then also for I have a lot of like followers on Instagram who I know that it's not they're never going to hire me
Mm,
because it's not in their budget, or it's not like they're more really do it yourself kind of people.
mm-hmm.
um, but this is something that gives them more time, because as long as you have measurements you can just go and find what you need. Like I want everybody to really like their house. And for
Mm,
some people, that means having things in pretty bins, or
yeah.
that one container that fits that odd closet. Um, and I don't want people to have to spend a lot of time or get lost at Target trying to find it. Um, so, yeah, you can just find what you need, order it. Most of the places have like curbside pickup, or Amazon will ship it to you. So, it really should hopefully, my hope is it saves everybody a lot of time because we have more important things to do.
That's right. Lindsay, I mean, like I said, I just can't thank you enough for sticking with it. Because I know that people are going to be like thinking of you and thanking God for you by name at night when they're like, this was such an overwhelming prospect, like to go into. I mean, some people are really good at this and they love the shopping part.
Yeah.
Other people kind of avoid it or they try to do it online. But it is, it's one thing on paper to say like, yes, like batch. You got like 3 clients that might need different things. So go to
Mm-hmm.
the Container Store once, kind of batch everything together, know where you're going, be familiar with your local options so that you can spend the least amount of time on shopping as possible, obviously, so that you're getting more for your time, more for your money,
Uh-huh.
more profit in your business. It's easy to say that, but not to like put shame on anybody, but not every organizer is actually great at like that kind of thing. It's a challenge. So I I really see this as like a very virtual solution for people who actually would rather not ever set foot in Target again, which is a huge
Right.
reason why I do everything on Amazon Prime anyways, because I actually really hate shopping.
It makes it easier.
Yeah.
So one feature I want to make sure everybody knows about is the wish list. So you can save things to your wish list and then email it to yourself or to a client.
Ooh.
And then there's just they hit that link and it brings up all the products. So say you're helping somebody like do virtual organizing, or maybe you have a client who they prefer to pick up all the stuff on their own or use their own credit card.
Yeah, that's
You can just
huge.
send them the link.
Mm-hmm. Then you don't even have to deal with like clients like reimbursing you. You can
Right,
send them the link and be like, okay, purchase what you need by this date, kind of like plan it so that their stuff can arrive by the time that you get there
right.
next time. And then, help them return. Well, actually, I should ask you about that. Like, I'm not as familiar with like the online return policies, but can you return things easily if you order it online,
Yep.
like with Target? And Amazon is a little more challenging, isn't it?
You know, so I live in Seattle, so our
Oh,
Amazon options are,
you have
I
no problems there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was fine. I know that Amazon has um, great customer service. A little disclaimer, my husband does work for Amazon. So I'm
Nice.
like, yeah, um, just so everybody knows. But yeah, they have really, really good customer service. So I've never had a problem returning something that I bought from there. And I buy stuff Target online all the time and just return it in the store.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Okay. Cool. Cool. And the Container Store is a pretty good return policy, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like all of those stores do really well
That's
when it comes
awesome.
to serving their customers.
Yay, convenience. Thank you, Lindsay. Gosh, yeah, and it truly is an innovation for the organizing industry. So please, if you guys are listening, tell all of your organizer friends about it. Share the podcast, of course, but tell them, this is Lindsay's thing, and send her some free coffee or something to tell her thank you, thank you, thank you for making this resource.
Thank you so much.
So Lindsay, what else? I like just chatting with you because I feel like you are so clearly moving towards maybe that life that you would have imagined that you you could have,
Yes,
like in terms of
yeah.
having a job that was really fulfilling and finding something that was really going to balance, like you said, it would be your own thing, but provide some balance, um, with your role as a mom and your
Hmm.
family life. So I know the KonMari certification process is going to be a next big step for you, but is there
Yep.
anything else just on the horizon that you see yourself moving towards?
So one thing that's it's on my website, and we've done one of these projects so far, is doing kind of home refresh projects for foster families.
Okay.
So I led one. We had a group, I'm going to say about 6 volunteers, a couple people from my church, some people who followed me on Instagram, some
Awesome.
people who have
Yeah.
been friends of mine forever. My mom was there, and we helped this mom of 3 young boys. We worked in their room, so just really organized their closet and brought in a dresser so they could have more storage, and just did some general cleaning and figuring that kind of stuff out. So that is something that is really important to me. We were foster parents to our youngest son for 2 years before we finalized his adoption. So
Mm,
that really gave me an insight into that world and how rewarding, but also how stressful it can be for foster parents, and how much they desperately need someone who can help them kind of organize their home, because it becomes kind of like a trauma center. You're
yeah.
dealing with kids who've come from really um, oftentimes very traumatic situations and are going through trauma because they're separated from everything they know, and people that they love, and it's just a lot of uncertainty for everyone involved. So being able to come in and help them at least remove some of the stress that's in their home has been really, just really valuable and fulfilling for me and for the volunteers that got to come on the last project with me. So that's something that I definitely see. Now that I'm kind of shifting into the KonMari mode, I'm trying to brainstorm how to do that. So I'm really serving those families the best way possible. Like, I don't want to just make it look real pretty and then their kids come home and then it's like
Yeah.
stressful again.
Mm-hmm.
So just that's kind of where I'm at, and kind of the next phase is figuring out how to do that. That aspect will also working with my other clients and yeah, having this site and then also raising my kids,
Absolutely.
going on date nights with my man.
Okay, Lindsay, you're like the definition of somebody who is clearly um, competent and passionate about many areas. And I think that just hearing about how all of it has come together in this business and the different facets of how you're able to express your values is really incredible and actually very inspiring. And two, you're, I know everybody has different reasons for why they do this, but like figuring out a way that is personally meaningful for you to
Mhm.
give back
Yeah.
is really just very special and something that, like you said, that you had experience with and now you want to be able to share with other people. So that in itself, I mean, I would say I want to shine a spotlight on, people who are finding innovative ways to volunteer their time and gifts through their organizing business. I mean,
Yeah.
who would have thought? So, gosh, thank you for the many ways that you are changing, our ideas of what's possible. Because I would say, there's plenty. I know your business is still relatively young, and so there's plenty
Yeah.
of people who have been in business a long time and have not really figured out like where they want to go with it. So, thank you so much for sharing
Well,
your
thank you.
vision and inspiring hopefully another person out there who's like, yeah, I've got one of those projects that needs a little bit of like, I just don't see why this is not possible. So,
Yeah.
okay, Lindsay, for those who are just listening on the audio on the podcast,
Uh-huh.
let's share one more time all of your websites and your social media or Instagram, like where people can find you and follow you and learn more about you. And of course, it's all in the show notes too, guys. If you missed anything and want to check her out.
Okay, so Instagram, I have one Instagram account. It's Simplifying the Everyday. Then my organizing website, blog, etc., is simplifyingtheeveryday.com. And then findorganizersthatfit.com is where you can go to search for products. You can also hit like the shop button on my organizing website, and it will just take you to that page.
Awesome. And then, of course, you have information about the work that you're doing with the Home Refresh Project on your website, as
Yep.
well as a way for people to connect with you if they want to volunteer.
Yes, I've got a volunteer
Locally
form.
in Seattle, I'm
Yep.
assuming. You
Yep.
said your mom came, other people came and showed up.
Yep.
So I hope that, through this podcast that we help you make some connections even in your own area that wouldn't have been possible before. So
That would be great.
thank you for being here, Lindsay.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for being a part of this whole new chapter for me. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you. It is humbling to realize. And even though we've never met in person before, I feel so like bonded with you over how much this just kind of made your life make sense,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm excited about your next chapter with the KonMari stuff. Obviously, not my expertise, but I'm all for it. I love that you found a path that like really resonated with how you want to move forward. So good luck with that. And I can't wait for you to come out the other side with your certification.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks again, Lindsay. And thank you, everyone, for listening in today.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. If you'd like to learn more about time-saving services and resources for professional organizers, visit www.proorganizerstudio.com. And if you'd like to get Jen's roadmap to success for launching and growing your professional organizing business, go straight to www.poroadmap.com.